Hello and welcome to another video on the ACE channel, and today I'm going to be making a commentary on the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, a few things I'd just like to get out the way before we start talking and before you jump to any preconceived notions. Number one, I am not a fan of Charlie Kirk. Number two, I am neither Republican nor Democrat. And number three, the people that are celebrating his death are failing to recognize the dangerous direction that this sets us towards and are slowly becoming the same thing they're seeking to destroy. I'm not making this video because I feel I have all the answers. I'm making this video because I'm observing very dangerous behavior all around me, and I'm just stating my opinions on said observations. So if you disagree with me or feel like you have something to add, drop it down in the comments. Try to keep it respectful. Try is a very important word in that sentence. You have every right to express yourself however you feel, as long as you don't get violent. So let's start by addressing the elephant in the room. Who was Charlie Kirk? Charlie Kirk was a political speaker who gained a lot of popularity traveling the country expressing his political ideas that leaned more towards a religious state and more towards Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Matter of fact, I think it's pretty safe to say he was one of the key components to Donald Trump winning his last campaign. I mean, the man was wearing his t-shirts, his merchandise, throwing them out to the crowd and constantly promoting his policies and ideas. No matter where he went, he would stand for them and argue for them, for better or worse. To say he was a mouthpiece for the Republican Party is like saying that Red Bull is a platform for extreme sports and stunts. It's common sense. It's not some conspiracy that Charlie Kirk had strong ties to the Trump campaign, either directly or indirectly. It doesn't really matter. In fact, I don't think Trump would have won his last election campaign if it wasn't for people like Charlie Kirk that would travel the nation and convince thousands of young voters that Trump was the right way to go. In addition, he was not shy to debate against the LGBTQ and abortion rights, something that made him very unpopular. And to sit here and talk about him without addressing his mistakes and blatantly ignorant comments is just a huge disservice. The fact of the matter is, he was far from perfect, and to treat him like a golden goose is so simple-minded, and to treat him like some sort of fascist, evil, white supremacist is also just objectively wrong. With the amount of conversations and political public debates that this man has had, there is no shortage of footage of him being wrong. There is no shortage of debates he's lost. Sure, he did not publish them to his page, but that was still public to the hundreds of people in attendance at his events. He still gave an open mic to those at his events to argue against him. That objectively is not fascism. That is just debating, and it's not like he has never changed his mind on anything, and we will wrap back to that idea of him changing certain political views and how I believe that is what caused his ultimate doom. Now, to my second point, I will do my best to keep this short as I'm not trying to fall into other rabbit holes here, but I'm neither Democrat nor Republican. I have only voted once, and since then I began to pay more attention to how my vote affects not only my nation and my life, but the world. And I have begun to realize that it's all the same party. The people in blue and the people in red all serve the same purpose and are all controlled by the same government. Regardless of who you vote for, you're feeding the same machine. Therefore, for that reason, I think basing a large part of your personality just on what side you vote for every 4 years is a huge disservice to yourself spiritually, politically, and socially. There has never been a perfect government. Empires fall. That is a given. Yes, the people that wrote and signed the Constitution owned slaves. Yeah, this country was founded over the blood of thousands of Native Americans that some welcomed with open arms and others immediately turned a blade towards. Holding on to resentment of our ancestors is the reason that we are here today. It's the reason that people are out here talking about a civil war like it will solve anything. When has there ever been a war where we ended and destroyed the opposition along with their ideologies? We can cut the head off of the serpent, but what happens after? What happens to the body of that serpent? It decomposes and integrates itself into the rest of the world. No matter how hard you try to destroy anyone who disagrees with you, you will never be able to destroy an ideology. A question I wish to propose to those that are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. What happened the last time we killed the Nazi fascist, Adolf Hitler? What happened to his regime? All of those scientists and engineers that created the vehicles and arms and death camps that he used to oppress a certain group of people. What happened to those minds? Did we line them all up and execute them along with him? Or were they absorbed into various different governments all along the world? What happened to those citizens that were devoted to Mr. Hitler? Did they change their minds immediately after his death? What happened to the winning side? The nations that banded together to dismantle the Nazi Party. Did they learn from the mistakes of their opponent? Or did they continue to violently enforce their ideas all along the world until they became the very same thing they sought to destroy? An oppressive government that will push their ideas by any means necessary, that will destroy and create any ignorance it needs for the furtherment of its power. It's almost like the evil didn't end with Hitler. Instead, it's been quietly festering in our governments all around the world, silently mastering the ability to manipulate people by the millions, by the billions, all through algorithms, speeches, tragedy, policies, law enforcement, music, film, economies, education, all in an effort to keep us angry and belligerent and distracted from the fact that there is an evil that exists only to destroy the world. Some would say that Charlie Kirk stood for that evil, that by turning a blind eye to the destruction it causes all around the world, he enabled it. To them, I ask that you look into the things Mr. Kirk would speak about within the last few weeks of his life. His perspective on a certain nation began to change, and only then was he assassinated. Is it not concerning that every time some sort of domestic terrorism or national tragedy happens, two different groups constantly point the finger at each other rather than trying to find the truth? They would use any sort of travesty in order to further their own agenda, rather than trying to understand and solve the problem itself. It's not about making solutions, it's about furthering their power. And the vast majority of people are falling into this trap, allowing themselves to absorb a gluttonous amount of surface level information, never really taking the time to sit down and talk about it without it turning into an argument. Being able to hear something you don't agree with and think about it for longer than it takes to listen. If we continue to normalize and glorify this sort of behavior within the United States, it is a path towards assured mutual destruction. These are just some of the questions I've been asking myself over the last couple days. I don't have all the answers, but I've been having a lot of conversations with various different people. Some that really liked Mr. Kirk, others that totally despised him, and some others that truly just want to see the world burn. And if I'm being totally honest, the more I talk to them, the more I begin to understand where it is that they come from, and the more I begin to realize we all come from the same place. Fear. Fear that we are slowly de-evolving ourselves into a chaotic world of war. Fear that we are powerless to those that treat us like we're numbers. Fear that we have lost the path to the Lord. Fear that a select few is bringing upon us a new world order. Regardless of what you're scared of or whatever drives the rage you feel, you cannot change the world, but you can change those around you. And it is until we realize we cannot exist without each other, our ego will stop us from truly unveiling our full potential, from exploring and understanding the universe for what it is rather than what we believe it to be. But I don't know. I'm just some average beaner. If you listen, thank you for your time. Have a beautiful day. Keep the peace. See you.